Insomniacs and troubled sleepers, when you wake up at 3 a.m. and can't fall back asleep, what do? I usually listen to a podcast rather than look at anything on my phone. I find that the light from the screen only makes it less likely that I'll be able to fall asleep again. Edit. Thank you so much for the awards. Really looking forward to trying all the suggested shows. I use a meditation app that also has something called sleep stories, which are basically bedtime stories for adults. They range in topics from rules of tennis to stories about traveling through mountains by train and such. I find it similar to podcasts, but as the topics are not that engaging, it helps me fall asleep better. Edit. The app is calm, has tons of very professional content, and someone in the comments said that if you have Amex you get a year subscription for free, so check it out. I agree, Calm is my go-to. I wear a set of soft sleep headphones that I bought for about $20. The story I listen to on repeat is called The Shipping Forecast, and it's a British guy reading weather patterns for particular shipping routes for sailors. It's complete nonsense to me, so I don't get too involved in the story. One of the Calm app voiceover creators has a YouTube channel called The French Whisperer. It has hundreds of 1 to 3 hour videos on tons of various topics, and the guy's voice is like butter. French butter. I'm out cold in 20 minutes every time. Shout out to The French Whisperer. He is a goddamn ASMR magician. I would also recommend Dan Jones and Christopher Fitton if you're into long, boring sleep stories. Their voices are magical. Do the adverts not ruin it? I can imagine just being tranquil and then boom, Daisy, 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 or turn $250 into $1,768 overnight with Amazon, and I'd be wide awake. If doing this on your phone on the YouTube app, scroll all the way to the end of the video, then hit replay, and you won't get any ads in between the video. You are still forced to watch the ads at the start when you first play the video and at the end when you scroll to the end. However, there won't be any more ads after that point. If you're watching long video like that, it would save you from this. Edit. This does work for me on Android. If there are some iPhone users with some spare time, give this a test and let me know the outcome. The real tips are in the comments. Thanks. As far as I've been able to tell, any respectable ASMR artist doesn't have any ads in the middle of their YouTube videos, even if they are a few hours in length. And in any of the apps like Calm. I use Slumber and Relax Melodies, don't have any ads during playback, even with the free versions. Calm is a paid app subscription, so there are no ads. The shipping forecast is a real thing. It's broadcast twice a day on FM by the BBC, and I think more often on long wave or shipping radio. It's just a weather/sea conditions forecast for various regions of sea off the British coast. YouTube link. One of Radio 4's most important broadcasts. I used to have to get up mega early and would sometimes catch this on the radio. Dogger 8 falling, Lundy rising 10, Viking exploding 1 million. Or something like that. Recommended to all. Link, might not work outside UK web link. That sounds ideal. The Calm app is good. It's $60 per year for a subscription, but you don't have to worry about ads or anything, and the content is extremely professional. There's dozens of different guided meditations for all sorts of scenarios. Thirded, sleep stories are amazing. Basically very boring stories like descriptions of train rides or walks through the woods. No loud noises, no ads, and my favorite part, at the beginning of every story, the narrator says something like, "Now take a moment to relax, get comfortable, and settle into your bed," and it works. My personal favorite is the Queen Mary, where you are an honored guest on a transatlantic voyage in the 1920s. I've listened at least a dozen times and still haven't made it to the end, it's so calming. Pro tip, if you sign up for the 7-day free trial and cancel before it ends, they'll offer you 20 to 30% off the yearly rate. If you have Amex you get it free for a year, also you can frequently get $ off. Same, I've been listening to the Sleep With Me podcast every night for years. I fall asleep listening to it and I turn it back on if I wake up and can't get back to sleep. Dearest Scooter is one of my best friends at this point. I love explaining Sleep With Me to people. It's a guy with a really boring voice telling you nonsense stories to bore you so much you fall asleep. Same. The way he can make his nonsense interesting enough to keep my ADHD brain from wandering, but boring enough that I don't feel the need to stay awake and pay attention is a true art. Cannot recommend the Sleep With Me podcast enough. It's been part of my daily sleep routine for 3 years now. I recommend the Sleep With Me podcast. It's like 90% effective for me. The podcast Sleep With Me is very effective. I like it a lot. Choose a podcast with familiar voices and without commercial breaks or loud noises. Alternatively, an audiobook that you already know. I always have one wireless earbud in my ear so I don't have to open my eyes, scroll, and stuff. Just tap the earbud and the soothing sound starts. Choose a side to lay on and stay there, focus on the sound, and keep your eyes closed. Even if it becomes uncomfortable. Definitely agree. Some voices do not help me to relax at all, and it's not as helpful if the story/content is super interesting, as I just stay awake to listen to more. Check out the podcast Sleep With Me. The host is really good at making it entertaining but not interesting enough to keep you awake. I do a reset. If I can't get back to sleep, I get up and walk through my bedtime routine again and then get back into bed. It usually works. Sounds like a good idea, but my bedtime routine is just to go to bed. I used to have insomnia in middle school, and having a set bedtime routine really helped with convincing my brain that it was indeed time to go to sleep. Before that, I would just put my PJs on, turn off the light and go to sleep. Stupid question, but what do you consider a routine? I brush teeth, undress, lay down. I start by making sure all of my stuff is prepared for tomorrow, like homework. I'm still in school, and my outfit might sound stupid, but preparing an outfit in the morning really stresses me out, to the point where I have trouble falling asleep. After that, I make sure I'm not hungry or thirsty, and everything I need is on my bedside table: water, tissues, hand cream, and other stuff. I make sure to take my meds. I take a shower and go through all of my skincare routine. After that come PJs, brushing my teeth, and toilet stuff. Then I go to my room. If it's winter, I make sure my radiator isn't going to heat my room too much, turn on my night lamp, close the door, and turn off the lights. After I finally lie down in my bed, I pick out an ambient sound to play on my phone, put it on the charging pad, apply hand cream, turn off my night light, and go to sleep. I have done that for over 6 years now, and while I appreciate spontaneity during the day, I find that having a set routine at night really helps me fall asleep and stay asleep. Tissues, hand cream, and other stuff useful when your body suddenly jerks itself awake at night. I'm a girl with dry hands and allergies lol. But I see your point. I have hand lotion by my sleeping place too. I work around water and wash my hands a lot, especially since I have a public-facing job. I used to put it away if I had company coming, but now I just laugh about it if they bring it up. I tell them I keep the lube in the kitchen to grease my baking pans. That's hilarious. I get you on the dry hands thing. Brake fluid sucks moisture out of anything, even removes paint from car body, be careful, plus the salt from the roads and hand washing, and you have a ton of mechanics with skin problems. O'Keeffe's makes a wicked skin/hand repair cream that turned my life around. This isn't an ad, I'm serious. No more cracked and bleeding knuckles. Literally, every line on my hands would crack during the winter. When it gets real bad, the foot cream sometimes works even better. Legit lifesaver. Especially where I have 2 kids, one being a newborn. I don't want my nasty hands anywhere near him, but this stuff helped a ton. I'm a 50-year-old woman and I've been picking my outfit out the night before since middle school, otherwise I have stress dreams about being naked in public or not having any clean clothes that fit. My bedtime routine, which I often neglect but am trying to commit to, is a winding down routine. I stop looking at screens an hour before bed, brush teeth, wash face, get into whichever sleep attire I need, etc. If I'm not super exhausted, I read a book to try to get myself in the mood to sleep. I also make sure I've cleaned up whatever I did that day just so I don't stress over it while I'm trying to sleep, so put away leftovers, do dishes, tidy up the living room, put laundry in dryer, etc. A sleep routine should be a sequence of things you do to disengage your brain from your surroundings. They take a while to acclimate to, but you'll see improvements if you stick with the parts that help you de-stress/unwind. They also make turning off easier since your hamster will stop turning with guilt/stress of what still needs done and list making. Tomorrow's work is easier when today's work is done. But, brushing teeth? Yeah, but that's also a waking up routine, so it doesn't really count in my opinion. Maybe have a walk? Edit. Sorry, I meant wank. This is what I do. Also, as an insomniac, having a clear bedtime routine is key. It sometimes means missing out on stuff, but it keeps me sane. I do a half cup of chamomile tea, a 20-minute relaxing yoga session, and then a warm shower where I go immediately to bed. The natural cooling of your body from the shower is a good indicator to your body that it's sleep time. Also, as much as I miss it, cutting down hard on both caffeine and alcohol is huge. I still struggle sometimes, but it's the exception and not the rule these days. Living life on more than 2 to 4 hours a night is a game changer. Seconded on the caffeine. I love coffee, but it rarely makes me feel the energized everyone else seems to describe. I've had to implement a 12-hour rule, though, because even without the energized feelings, it will make falling asleep a nearly impossible hell for 12 hours after consumption. If I have a small coffee or black tea at 1 p.m., I'm falling asleep after 1 a.m. no matter how solid the rest of my bedtime routine was. It's crazy how caffeine can be like that for people. I, on the other hand, can drink a Monster and take an Adderall and fall asleep no problem, laughing out loud. Not that I usually do that, but I'm just always tired no matter what. Same here. I usually go to sleep at the same time every night, weekday or weekend, but if I can't, no matter what time I get home, I always perform my evening routine before going to bed. Oh, never thought of doing that, might try it next time. I hope it helps. Step 1. Establish a bedtime routine in the first place. How does that work? Do you go downstairs and turn on all the cozy lights and sit on the couch and then brush your teeth again and pee and turn off all of the lights again? I commented this above as well, but if you suffer from insomnia, having a good bedtime routine of relaxing events that you do consistently to tell yourself it's sleep time is key. For me, it's a half cup of chamomile tea, a short relaxing yoga session, brush my teeth and a shower directly into bed. If I've been lying in bed for 20 minutes clearly not getting sleepier, I get up and repeat this routine. Lately I've had to work a rotating schedule, switching days and nights, and it's helped a ton with that as well. That being said, my insomnia was pretty bad before I got stringent on this, and I still had to almost completely give up both caffeine and alcohol. I simply wallow in misery. Thank you for asking. Same here. I lay there annoyed that I'm not asleep and then start thinking about all my personal failings until I fall back asleep half an hour before the alarm. I never have enough time during the day to dwell on all my regrets, and the extra 2 to 3 hours in the middle of the night really helps me get around to it. Get up, get a glass of water in the kitchen, check doors are locked, brush teeth, and most importantly, go pee. Then go back to bed. If that doesn't work, try the self-loathing option above. This exactly sucks. Correct. Same here. Go back to sleep. PFFT. Also, it is highly unlikely that I have already fallen asleep before 3 a.m. My so is one of them who falls asleep within 2 minutes of going to bed at 10:30 p.m. It fills me with murderous jealous rage. Staring at the ceiling contemplating my mortality is always my go-to. I relive all the awful, uncomfortable, embarrassing, humiliating experiences or mistakes I've made in my entire life and deride myself for being an idiot, because that's a really useful way to spend time at 3:30 a.m. And then I fantasize about winning the lottery. Edit. We may all feel lousy in the middle of night, but at least now, we know we're not alone, and that gives me lots of solace, and hopefully for some of you as well. Thank you. I knew I wasn't alone. It's a crafty cycle because you can't fall asleep because it all just raises your anxiety and brings self-loathing and panic and concern about long-term effects. I end up tired and hating myself. Sleep With Me podcast is excellent for interrupting this and giving your brain something less anxiety-inducing to occupy itself with. It's weird, rambling, but it works. That's why my wife watches Friends. She's seen them all, so there isn't any new info to keep her entranced. I guess it's just the rambling, familiar voices that calm her brain, haha. I can relate to this. I can relate to nearly everyone posting here. I get up for the day. I've had some days where I'm running on half an hour of sleep. It truly sucks, but I don't know what else to do. If I just lay there, I never actually fall back asleep and usually end up getting out of bed a few hours later. Consider seeing a sleep doctor/therapist. Saved my life. I'm considering this. Can you share more about your experience? I did a sleep study and stayed up the entire night. They told me to just close my eyes, so I laid there until like 4 a.m. with my eyes closed before I fell asleep. Then I woke up at 7 a.m. They told me I was fine and I just had trouble going to sleep but not waking up. Mind-boggling how useless it was. Did they connect you up to a bunch of machines, do blood tests, have sound and movement monitors, have a follow-up sessions and prior sessions? If not, then it was probably just a bad place. Maybe your tests showed nothing. For that I am sorry to hear, but I do not have a solution. No blood tests, but I was hooked up to a bunch of machines with wires connected all over my body. They said I was fine and didn't do a follow-up. Even though I only slept 3 hours, and while I was awake, I was tossing and turning the entire time and would just in and out of stage 1 sleep. That is unfortunate. I am very surprised they had no recommendations for you. As evidenced by this thread, there are medications that will put you to sleep. The real question that needs to be evaluated by a medical professional is whether they are safe and effective for you. Laying there is definitely not helpful. But neither is just getting up. What I learned from insomnia therapy, CBT, is you should get up, sit down in another room or at least away from your bed and do something like read the paper or play solitaire. Something that doesn't keep you up but takes your mind off things. I usually listen to a podcast or audiobook. When you feel tired again, try going back to bed. If you can't sleep, at least you gave your brain a little extra time to rest. I read that this is actually what people used to do before electricity. Rising and falling with the sun can lead to some long nights in winter. So it was very common for people to be up in the very early hours for about 2 hours at a time. They would read books by candlelight, write letters, or go for walks until they became tired again and went back to bed. This helped me when I was waking up at 3 a.m. It was nice to know that back in the day it was normal to have a break for a few hours and sleep, and they'd even visit neighbors and such during that time since it was so common. Sometimes it helps to take away the anxiety of something and realize that it can be normal and a nice quiet time to hang out for a little and get some quiet stuff done before going back to sleep. Yeah, this is what I do, same if it takes me over 2 hours to get to sleep. I can't bear to lie in bed all night with my thoughts, so I just get up and do crap. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.